Hi students, this is day 2 of the rustic video series for oboe. Alright, so I have a bunch of reeds here that I just happened to soak and I was thinking about you guys. So let's look at the crows of these reeds that I soaked up that were just in my case. So here's the first one. And that doesn't sound so bad, but then it has all the rattle in it later. So I'm thinking that that's going to make it sound not very responsive. There might be some middle register notes that sound pretty good, but it's going to sound pretty bad if I blow with any sort of air. So let's see. Well, that's not so bad actually, but so you'd like your reed not to do that if it didn't have to. Now, of course, you're going to go back and assess all your reeds, and so it's a balance between what we do with our embouchure and our air and how your reed is. So if I had to play a beautiful solo on this reed, I could. But the G didn't really speak that well because it wants to honk, because it still has that stuff in it. Okay, so that's the first one. So that needs a little work and we'll get to that in another video. So here's another one. So that's pretty good. It's basically a C and it has 2 octaves. So let's see what that sounds like. It depends on your embouchure, how you do things. We have to make things work because we just can't get everything exactly the way we want it. It's just not even possible. So that's this reed. Okay, so the next reed, it also crows octaves. It seems a little more lively, so maybe it'll be a little more responsive in some areas. We'll see. So I feel like it has a little more ring to the tone, and maybe it'll respond better. So that one's my favorite so far for sure. Okay, so let's set that over there. Well, let's actually crow it again so we remember what it sounded like. So it comes in like that, and it has a little bit of liveliness to it. Again, it takes hours and hours and hours to get a reed like that, and so that's why when you buy a reed, not only is it expensive, but it probably won't work like that because nobody's going to spend, 8 hours making a reed and then selling it for $20 except your teacher. She tries really hard. Okay, for you guys, not for everybody. I only sell reeds to you guys anyway. All right, so again, here's the next reed. So it has that liveliness and it has octaves, but if you listen really carefully, it's kind of flat. It's a little saggy. So I have to use my embouchure differently for this reed. So I need a little more pressure, and then it sounds pretty good. So again, sometimes we have to compensate for different things. And if I needed a reed that was super responsive, or if I were playing with someone that was a little lower in pitch, this might be fine. All right, so here's the last reed maybe, and it's a little harder, and it's also sharp, right, compared to the other one that was a little flabby. So let's compare again. Clearly a difference. So where that one I had to use more embouchure, the flat one, this one, it's probably gonna sound a little like I have to use less embouchure and a little tight. So I can make it work again, but I have to do a little bit of compensating in the other direction. So I hope that this inspires you to think about how we have to fit our reeds with what we do, and also to start to learn to make more reeds, because the only person that can adjust your reeds is you, because the crows change as you play on them. Bye!